Hello, this is my tutorial for painting bubbles with watercolors. A couple people asked me if I would make one, so that's what I'm doing. I'm starting with making circles on the page. I'm just going to kind of show you the tools. You don't have to watch me draw all of them. I do like to have one or two kind of bigger circles to have a focal point. And I'm just using a tape roll here for that one. Maybe I'll do another one like this. Some of them should overlap. It kind of makes a cool effect. You want to kind of make your pencil lines light, unlike what I just did here, because you don't want them to show through the colors you use. But if you don't, if you do what I just did, you can always go back in and erase them a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a few more circles, but I won't make you watch it all, so we'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I made lots of circles and I made them all dark just like I said I would. So I'm just going in and erasing a little bit to lighten them up. Sorry if my camera is shaky. I have a really silly setup right now. But anyway, erase them all and make them lighter. If you don't have one of these things, a stencil with the circles, you can use anything. Like I use the tape ring. Sometimes I'll use like a medicine bottles. Anything that's round you can trace. I didn't have one of these stencil things until my cousin came over the other day. She just happened to be getting rid of one, so that was kind of perfect. All right, so I'm making these lines lighter, and then the next step is going to be I'm going to paint them with liquid latex. It's kind of like the masking fluid, but I found a deal for it, excuse me, at the Halloween store at the end of the year. They have 50% off sale. So it was like $7 for 16 ounces versus the price of the masking fluid that you can get. And so it's gonna last me a long time, and it was way cheaper, and it works just as well as far as I know. So I'm gonna paint all of these circles with that. I'm gonna keep erasing, but I don't need to do that on camera. And you just fill in the whole circle with that. If you don't have any of this liquid latex or masking fluid, it doesn't really matter. It just makes it easier. So I will show you what you can do if you don't have the liquid latex or masking fluid. It just makes it a little bit harder to do the background, but no big deal, you can still do it. So I'm going to not make you watch me paint all these circles with liquid latex, and I will be right back after it's all dry. Okay, so all of my liquid latex bubbles are dry. I left a few without latex so that I could show you how you're going to do the background for those ones. First, you want to pick a color palette. I'm going to make this one so that the background looks kind of blurry, but if you're thinking you want to do like a forest like I did, then you're going to want some green in your background. You'll want to think about what color the sky is behind it. And those are the colors you're going to be doing for this first part for the background. There's always a little bit of pink and blue, like the oil slicks sort of look in soap bubbles. So it's okay to get some of that in there too. I'm going to start with my favorite pink. And this first one is just a wash over the whole background, and I just get it really, really wet and go for it. And then I'm going to add some blue at the top, just because we'll do one that looks like the sky with the trees, so you guys can see how I did that one a little bit. All right, so I'm going to go in down lower where I didn't put the latex on a couple of them, and you're just going to do the usual paint around the outline. It just takes more time than being able to do a wash over the whole thing. That's the only difference. And we're actually going to go in later and get kind of specific with some of these background colors anyway. So we're going to end up doing a little bit of this either way. So we'll do our color around all of our bubbles. And you want to make sure you get all that blended. This one, it usually ends up being a really light wash. So after this, we're going to let it dry and then come back again to darken some of the different areas up. I'm going to put some green over here, and it actually looks good when it blends with the other colors. So don't worry about doing it while it's wet and these colors touching each other. And then I usually put a little black at the bottom because it's a dark forest. So we want to make sure we got all that. And we always end up going in with more black too because it doesn't get very dark that first try. So basically you'll do your first wash, just a general idea of what colors you want for the background. And we just got to try to keep those circles white for now. So I'm going to go ahead and let it dry for a while, and I will come back when that whole background is dry, and then we're going to do just basically another layer of this color, but darken up a few specific areas. So I will be right back again. Okay, I'm back. I'm just going in to do more color on the background. Basically, it's just going to be another layer of what I already did. Some areas I'm going to go in and try to do a lot darker like this. And then I'll just blend out the edges. And that just gives it a little bit more depth, I think. And then I'll do some more blue up here. So basically you're just going to keep doing these layers for the background until you get your colors as dark as you want. So I won't make you keep watching all the layers, but that's how you're going to do that. And then after this one dries, I'll come back and actually start showing you how we're going to do the bubbles themselves. So I will be back. Okay, now we are actually getting to the bubbles. So this is what my background looks like. And I'm going to choose two colors to start. Like I was saying, the pink and blue kind of show up in the bubble anyway, so I'm going to choose those for the outline of the bubbles. You can do more than two colors, but two is where I started, so I'll do that here with you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with my favorite pink, and it is gonna be the same type of colors as the background, but it works. I'll show you how. Okay, so for the first part, you are just gonna go along the edge, and you want the color to be pretty dark, pretty solid, like that. You'll do one of your colors, and then the next one, you want to keep it pretty wet because you do want them to blend. And then we'll do that. I'm going to go along this side, so you're going to alternate colors. And I should have just done this side pink while I did the other one, but I didn't think about it. And try to stay in the lines unlike what I just did. Okay, after you do those edges, I wash off the brush and just get some water on there, and then I start to blend it out. You want to make sure they blend into each other over here, but also start blending out into the middle. Okay, now this part is a little trickier. We want to make sure that we keep some white spots. So I always kind of mark them out like this. Block it off here. And then we'll do another one over here. I usually do 2 or 3 white spots, just leave them white, and then blend all this out to the middle. And I usually get it covered with these 2 colors. And when it's getting too thick, too drippy like this, like it's just going to be a puddle, I'll take a sponge and pick some of the color up because I know that's not going to dry how I want it to. So there we go with that. And then I will actually also go in and take other random colors, and this is why you want to keep everything really wet, because this part you want to really just flow around on its own. So I like green, sometimes yellow, and you don't have to put these extra colors in every bubble. You can do different colors in each bubble, or you could even take the green that we did down here for the trees, because those things will reflect in the bubbles. So I got a little water pooling down here again, so I'm going to pick that up again. Once it all dries, if we want these edges to be darker, we can always go back in. So pretty much that is that bubble done, unless I want some parts dry afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and do one more. I'm going to do this one. It's kind of close but not totally touching, so you have to wait till this main one is dry before you can do another one that's touching. If you've worked with watercolors before, you know that as soon as we touch this edge here, it'll just bleed right into the next one. So we can do all the ones that aren't touching and then let it dry and go back in and do more. They're pretty much the same. You'll get the gist of it after one. So I'm just going to do one more to show you, and we'll see if I think of any other tips, but yeah, that's the gist of it. So I'm going to use same colors. Start with the pink. And we'll start over here. This one's a little bit lighter, but that's okay because the variety is good, I think. And then we'll get some more of the blue. Well, that one's way lighter. But like I said, if it dries lighter than you want it to, you can always go back to those edges and just darken them up a bit. And you might actually prefer the lighter ones. So that's just something you'll have to decide for yourself what your preference is. So this one's the same. I'm just blocking off a couple little white spots. I'm going to put a little bit more pink in there to spread around. Make sure you blend it really good. I'll throw some of the same green in here. And it doesn't have to be a lot of any of the other colors. Usually in these tiny ones over here, I'll just end up putting the two colors anyway. I mean, you can even throw some yellow in there too if you want. Because with the oil slick, the way the soap bubbles are, there's a bunch of different colors anyway, and it'll pick up the reflections from everything behind them. So that's really easy. You just have to decide on colors and decide how you like your blending. Hardest part is probably keeping the white spots, not accidentally coloring those in. So I'm going to go ahead and off screen, I'll paint the rest of the bubbles, and then I'll just show you the finished product. So it's pretty simple. I guess maybe I could do one more in case anyone has questions or would like to see one more. And you could even take that green we've been using and do one of that instead of the blue on that side, but then still blue on this side. I was saying you could use more than two colors. It's just preference. I actually did go watch a bunch of YouTube videos to get an idea of how to do this. And so all these tips I'm giving you are just like a compilation of things I learned from the videos I watched. So you'll take these tips I'm giving you and then just decide what you like and don't like, and then go from there. And then at the end, you can do a black outline. I haven't decided what I like best, so I guess I'll finish painting all of these. I'll show you the finished product, and then we can do one or two with black outlines to see what we prefer. So once this dries, I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so here are the bubbles painted. Now we just have to decide if we want an outline. I think with this one I do. Some of them I get the lines a bit cleaner and they're okay, but this one's a little messy. I was thinking maybe I want to try with pencil, which would defeat the purpose of me erasing the pencil at the beginning, but I'm going to try it. And then hopefully you guys will comment and let me know what you think. If it should be pencil or pen or no outline. So that's pencil. You can just see a little bit better than it was. Try pencil on this one. And I was a little off with that one. But anyway, it's a little bit darker than no outline. So tell me if you like that or if you think we should do black. I'll do a pen outline on a couple of them so you can tell me your opinions on that too. Okay, so there's black pen outline. I do kind of like that, but I don't know if it takes away from it looking a little bit more realistic. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Also, if you do decide to try this, please send me pictures. I'm so curious to see how it goes for you guys. Send pictures or tag me if you're gonna do a video. I would just love to see how they turn out, and then your opinions on the outlines for sure. And so we'll just keep going with that. There's a couple more things that I did in a different painting as far as reflections from the trees and that sort of thing in the bubbles, which if you want, I'll do a tutorial of that later. Only reason I'm not doing it now is because it might have something to do with what people are getting for my February print club, midnight print club. And it's supposed to be a mystery card, so I'm not giving too much away, but after that's out, I'll show you what I sent to those people, and then we can do another tutorial explaining a little bit more about how I do the reflections in the bubbles, that sort of thing. So I guess that's it for that tutorial for now. Let me know if you have questions. I hope this made sense to you, so it wasn't just me talking about nothing. And if you guys want to sign up for my print club, you can go to my website, halliewattsart.com. And that's a monthly mystery postcard of print of my art. And in February, I just gave you a little bit of a hint about what you'll be getting if you sign up before January 25th. So thank you guys so much for watching.